Hey, how's it going? So, I've been stewing on this for my entire transition, really, but just sort of life, I guess, my whole life, and it took me a long time to find the term for it, and then really come to terms with it because I had issues with just the way I had existed in my life and in my past, and I'm gender fluid. I'm coming out as gender fluid. I am still transitioning, still going to be on HRT. That's obvious. But if you can't tell, this is my masculine energy. This is my, I call it my mic, because I have my mic and I have my alley. And they work together. It's not like DID or anything. I'm still me, right? I'm obviously like it's just an energy within me. It fluctuates and it switches back and forth. And it right now I'm mostly been in my feminine, and like I would accept to non-binary, but I'm just gonna come to terms with it and accept it and embrace that more masculine part of me. And my pronoun preference is still mainly she. If the dude bro is obvious, he is accepted, but they is still preferred for now anyway. And I'm just kind of trying to wrap my head around this. And I was even like, oh, maybe I should talk to some other person about it. And then I was like, I just sat with it, right? And let that come out. And that's really what I needed. I think that's a lot of the, like, I'm going to say more aggressive content that I've been putting out recently, the reels and shorts that I do that are, it's my shadow work, right? And it's me working through that shadow part of me and just trying to figure it out. And yeah, it was kind of related. Like, I needed to accept this, and I needed to come to terms with it, and I needed to just embrace it instead of hiding from it. And a big part of my confusion was like the first term I found that even really made sense, and it's the first person I met when I was like working EMS who was gender fluid or two spirit in this case. That's what I'm talking about, right? I was avoiding saying it because like it's a sacred term, and that's why I was never ever comfortable with being like, that's me. Like, I don't know who my dad is, but I'm pretty sure he's not Indigenous. Like, I am a giant white person. I get that. And like, even if I found out that he was, like, I was raised in white culture. I was raised in northern BC and Alberta, western, like, cowboy rigor culture. And that's just been my life. I accept that. It was also a big part of why I didn't even figure out, like, I figured out, but I didn't accept within myself that I was trans until I was 33. And I'm 35 now. So it's been like 2 years and a bit, 2.5 years. Yeah, because it was February that I came out as trans first. And I think that confusion was just, it was hard for me, and like it was hard for people in my life because like I would be like, hey, I'm a trans woman, and then I still have this like masculine energy, right? And that's totally valid. You can be a trans woman and be masculine. Don't get me wrong. Like, you can be a butch lesbian and be trans, just like you can be cis and be it. Like, there's not a lot of difference there. Really. Some don't need a strap on. It's built in. Like, it's built in. I'm good. One day, I might. I'm like 85% sure at some point I will. But that's just because that's like something I want to experience and have happen in this lifetime, right? That's something I've decided for my life and my path. And it's like relieving to sit here and actually just say it. Because even after I came out, like I was like, okay, but I'm a woman, but I'm a dad. And like, sure, that's valid. Sure, you can be that way. Sure, you can accept that. Sure, you can let that happen. Like, it's just a title. Who cares? Just like gender's just a title. Like, it's all performative. What the gender is the performative part of the society and the cycle and the life and blah, 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 blah. I could continue to go on, but like, I shouldn't need to. And like, I don't need to. This is just me being like, hey, I'm gender fluid and I'm coming out as gender fluid. And we're going to experiment with that and see where that leads and what that does in our lives. And like, even I'm referring to our and we, but like, I'm actually talking to you because you're here with me, and anybody who sees this has the potential to follow along that journey with me. And I decided to start putting out content as awareness, just like a lot of trans people have. And this is what I'm going to do. Like, I'm spiritual, I'm healing, I'm focusing on all these things that like I see that society also needs, right? And like, we've had this like weird relationship with church and faith and people attaching those things together when religion and faith are separate, and like, who cares? Like, Jim Jeffries, I hate that guy for a lot of things that he said, but I also love him for saying that the Bible just needs to be one page, and it needs to say, don't be a C word on it. That's all the page needs to say. That's all we have to do is like, just not be rude to each other. And like, if you want to do that, go find people that are rude and like friends joking around and teasing with each other, people who are comfortable with each other, people who relate to each other, and can acknowledge when a boundary has been hit or crossed and have that conversation and that conflict resolution and just that discourse to build the intimacy in the relationship when those conflicts happen, right? And this came up because that's what I've been doing within me. There's a relationship inside me between the feminine energy in my body and the masculine energy in my body that is amplified. Because we all have that. We all have that balance. We all have that equality that exists within us. And when we live in equilibrium with that, and we're able to give and receive at the same level and have it be balanced, then we find balance, right? Because then we're able to do the things and receive the things that we need in our life at the same time. And it can happen. And like, it's just sort of also been this internal relationship within me. And like, I see where the masculine in me takes care of me, and I see where the feminine in me takes care of me. And like, the masculine makes sure that like I do my chores and I eat my food and all that stuff. And the feminine makes sure that like I take care of myself and I spend lots of time with my kids and I do all these things. And I'm not trying to stereotype things. I'm just saying that's how it exists within me, right? Like, I'm their mom. And I'm also their dad. And I'm a single parent, so I have to fill both of those roles anyway. And maybe that really amplified it. That's what, like, this last year of having to take care of a boy and a girl and finding different ways to connect with both of them, it's really been like a magnifying glass instead of just working, right? Because that's mostly what I've done as a parent, is I provided and I supported. But instead of that, what I'm doing now is I'm doing the opposite. I'm on disability. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do for work and what I'm going to do for life and how that's going to look going forward. And obviously, like, I'm on here making content, so it's not anything's possible. Anything's possible, but going back. because like I've just done enough. I put in my time. I was a paramedic. I worked through COVID. It was some of the hardest stuff I've ever had to deal with. And it was also some of the most rewarding stuff I've ever had to deal with. And I've always been the person that's like, the hard things in life are worth doing. The easy things in life tend to just keep us in our comfort zones, right? And when we push ourselves outside our comfort zones, that's how we grow and that's how we develop. And like, I've done a lot of therapy, and I went to a program called Choices Seminars, which was like a highly intensive group therapy. And it just like did a lot of work. And I did a lot of work, and I talked to therapists, and like I work in EMS, so obviously mental health and therapy is an interest of mine. It was my biggest interest. Like I can't tell you what drugs are, but I can have a conversation with somebody who just made an attempt. Like sitting in those conversations and just being there is where I felt more whole than trying to figure out like med lists and stuff like that, right? Like I was a primary care paramedic, so I was a lot more of a people person instead of like the brains behind like ALS, advanced life support, EMS, emergency medical services. And yeah. Sorry, my ADHD kind of went on a tangent there, and I just lost my train of thought. And like, whatever, man. Like, what do I care? I just want to do more, and I just want to be here, and I just want to help more people. And I think I can do that. And I think I have that possibility to do that. And I think I'm just able to. Like, my energies are so cool. And, like, they have their own unique gifts and their own unique talents. And, like, Allie reads these. I don't read them. Mike doesn't give a crap. I believe in it. Like, obviously, the stuff that comes out of Allie's mouth is amazing. And when she watches back some of these videos, she doesn't resonate with the messages that are coming out because they're not for her. They're for other people, and I'm one of them. Even though we're the same person, right? Like, Allie, that's how the feminine energy talks to the masculine energy, because when the energy's in charge, the energy is in charge. Like, I have like a background conversation with myself sometimes, but I think that's just more me working things out than anything. It's not like there's an actual voice in my head. It's just me thinking about it, right? And it's just me kind of coming to terms with it. And like, I've had to come to terms with a lot, and I've had to accept a lot in my life. And I'm grateful for the lack of sacrifices I've had to make along my journey, because like, I smoke and I drink energy drinks, and I need to quit that crap. And like, Allie hates it. That energy hates it. When I like step into my feminine energy and my chest hurts and like it's hard to breathe, or my throat's sore, unhappy. Or like, she gets like heart palpitations from energy drinks. But I've lived on like, the masculine energy was in charge for so long because it's the physical body I had. It's what everybody in my life reinforced. It's what everybody in my life encouraged. And I let that shine. And that's a big part of why I came out as trans, is because like, it wasn't my turn to shine. It was Allie's turn to shine. And she's gonna fucking shine. Like, that energy is beautiful. And I'm so happy it's back in my life. And I'm so happy it's a part of me. And this is just great. It's great to come to terms with it and accept it. And like, I've been struggling because the masculine energy in me wants to talk to men. And it wants to talk to men on here. But like, it's Allie's thing. And I think I'm the one who does a lot of the activism. Allie does like the spiritual side of things. Allie's like a goth hippie girl, like an emo hippie girl, and I'm like a punk. Like, that's the difference in the energy. I listen to heavier music. Allie listens to a lot of like spiritual music, like spiritual hip hop, like Peachka and Queen Herbie. I like Queen Herbie because I like rap. We both like rap. Snow the Product, super cool. And like, I don't know. I'm into like pop punk and rap, and I listen to like alt rock and stuff like that. But like, she hates it. Like, I don't listen to it when I'm in my feminine energy. And I think I use like we and our because it's just easier to talk about it that way for me than being like my feminine energy, my masculine energy. Like, we are we. We are all we. Who are you? You're you to you, right? I'm me to me, and Allie is me to Allie. Yeah, that's the right way to say it. Allie is me to Allie, and like, we're the same. The plan when we change our names is to change it to both. Like, my middle name will be my first name now. Just because. Like, I'm Mike. You can call me Mike. You can call her Alice. Like, I don't know what else to say. I don't really have anything else to say. But I sat here and I talked about it for 17 minutes. Like, that's how important it is to me. Obviously, there's like, I'm actually pretty impressed because between my Facebook, Allie's, I'm going to say Allie's Facebook and Instagram and TikTok, she's over 1,000 on Facebook, like 1,250, and almost at 1,000 on the other two. And it hasn't even been a year. And like, we built this from scratch. When I started this year, when it rolled over to 2024, I had 50 followers. Like, we had 50 followers on our Facebook page. We weren't doing Instagram. We weren't doing TikTok. We weren't doing anything else. November last year, Allie posted a video saying she was getting ready to come talk. And that's because she wasn't ready to speak. She wasn't confident enough. I am. I don't care. I protect us. We go out and, like, if it's dark, I go out. Allie doesn't. Allie's a trans woman. Do you know what the odds are of a trans woman getting assaulted? A lot higher than a cis woman. It's true. And I'm sorry to say that. And like, yeah, the numbers would be higher, but if you looked at the percentage of cis people who something happens to versus the percentage of trans people who something happens to, it's a higher number in the trans community. We're a smaller community. Way smaller. Way, man. It's like way down there, man. We're so small of a community. Because it's like, what, 10% of the population? Maybe. They don't even know yet because it hasn't leveled out. Because, like, it's been a long time that the majority of trans people kill themselves. And a lot of them kill themselves before they unalive. I'm going to change it. They unalive themselves before they figure it out, before they transition. I almost did a couple times, for sure. And if I think about it, I have thought about it. All of those reasons are because I'm trans. Every single one of them. Like, every experience that would lead to some point of that, it was a trans thing at the end of the day. Sometimes it didn't seem that way. Sometimes it was something different. Sometimes it seemed like something different. But like, oh, when I was hitting the point before I came out, if like I would get manned, I called it, in argument or discussion, I would like blow up. Because internally, I didn't feel like it. And it felt like it was fake. And I think that's just a lot of learning gender and learning your gender and who you are, is experimenting with all the parts of it and finding which ones fit and which ones stick and which ones are wrong. Because like the toxic side of masculinity and the toxic side of femininity exist. And we need to acknowledge it, and it shouldn't. It's wrong. Like, it's messed up. It's not cool. So I'm going to do it. I'm going to be here. I will be myself. It's not going to change a lot. But actually, it might. It's probably going to change a lot. I've got ADHD, so if I get ideas, I'm going to run with them. And like, this isn't an impulse decision, just for the record. I may have ADHD, but like, I've been unmedicated on my ADHD for almost 3 years while I've been on, no, over a year while I've been on disability. And I spent a lot of my life undiagnosed. I didn't get diagnosed with ADHD until I was like 30, 31. So that might be wrong, but I think it's right. So like, I've learned a lot of the management stuff, and like they teach you a lot when you go to school to be a paramedic, because like you need to take care of yourself. Or I'm the example. Hi. If you don't take care of yourself, and you work too hard, your body will give up on you. I don't ever want to push myself to the limits I push myself. I worked 24-hour EMS for 6 years. I don't recommend it. Those are long tours. It's 4 days. And it's like 4.5. It's 96 hours. So, just chill out, man. Anyway, I think that's about all I've had to say. I feel like that's all I had to say. So I'm just going to wrap it up here and let you know that I really appreciate anybody who watches this. I really appreciate the people that follow my content, and I really hope that people enjoy it. I've really enjoyed creating it, and that's why I'm going to continue doing it. It's because I really enjoyed doing it. This is wonderful. I love this so much. It's so cool. Anyway, that's it. Mike signing off. Allie says, peace, love, and unicorns. Allie out. I think that's so cheesy.